Welcome to this edition of the Ballin' Out Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan, here with my co-host tonight, Swanee and Billy. Billy, glad to have you back tonight, brother. How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm glad to be back, man. Like I told you, I'm trying to knock some of this rust off, and you guys are helping me big time.
Hell yeah, man. Well, we're glad you're back. I've missed you over the last month. I'm trying to remember what exactly we talked about the last time. It was before we won the World Series.
It was
for sure.
Yep. Well, boys, we have knocked out so far UTC, Swan, NC State, Kent State. Next up is that trip to Norman, Oklahoma, boys. One of those games got College Game Day written all over it, don't y'all?
Most definitely, College Game Day should be there. That should be a big game there.
There's not a whole. I don't think there's a whole lot of big games going on that weekend. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple, but I mean, I would imagine this will be a top 10, top 12 tilt. So I would imagine that one, this one's going to be the one they pick, but you never do know.
If both teams be undefeated by then, I mean, you're going to be hard pressed to find a higher ranked matchup. I would imagine.
Right.
Yeah, because
I would agree with that.
It looks like they should be undefeated when they come to us as well, unless they slip up against, I think, Tulane, because Tulane, they've been coached pretty well these last few years.
You know, Tulane gave them fits last year too, I want to say, or year before. Or them all they wanted. I want to say Spencer Rattler was still at Oklahoma when they played. So you can't sleep on them on Tulane. But we'll talk a little bit about this here series history with Oklahoma. They actually lead the series 3-1, dating back to 1939. The Vols won the game in Miami January 2nd, 1939, 17-0. Since then, Oklahoma's ripped off 3 in a row on us, including a home-and-home series. Game in Norman was a 34-10 victory for Oklahoma, and most recently, the Baker Mayfield-led Sooners won a come-from-behind thriller in double overtime, Neyland Stadium, 31-24. That one still stings, boys, because we had that one.
One of the loudest nights in Neyland history. And screw Baker Mayfield. That's all I got.
Baker.
That should have been a game that we won, but hey, we let it slip away, and I think this year is the year that we get a chance to come out. I think that's going to be our coming out party if we undefeated going to Oklahoma, because this is not going to be an easy game. You're talking about Oklahoma team that's already hate the SEC from the previous years, and now that they're part of it, they're coming out with their best work ever, man. I mean, because they're loaded. Oklahoma is loaded.
They are. Them and Texas. I mean, Texas is going to come in with a good roster too. I'm actually glad though, out of the two, that this is the one we drew instead of Texas. I think Texas is honestly a little bit better than Oklahoma. It's going to be it's going to be tough, but this one, this has got some good storylines to it. I mean, we've got hype on the road. That's going to be a thing. He can put a lot of that to rest right here. Hype getting fired. Supposedly he's the one that had to fall on the sword for Big Game Bob's brother. So I'd say there's some ill will there for Hype. We'll see what happens.
That's going to be a whole lot of game with Coach Hyper.
We fold like a fourth grade love letter in 2022 on the road. This could honestly be one of the biggest games in Hype's. This to me could be the biggest game in Hype's 4 years here. Bigger than Alabama, any of those games, because this one right here could set the tone for the rest of the season.
I agree with you there. I mean, Coach Hyper, with all the hype around it, with him, speculations of Oklahoma recruiting them come back home. And I don't think he'll go back. Tennessee is a big deal. He is the first coach since Coach Foreman left that truly have given his school a chance to win again. All other coaches gave it a stepping stone to go to another school. I think Hype has found his destination school that, he can make history if he continues to bring in the kids that he's doing. And like you said, if we can get this game and beat Oklahoma, I say even if we kept it close, I think this is going to be the history that pretty much put Tennessee back on the map the way it used to be.
I would agree with that because this is a big one, boys. I mean, this is the biggest one of the season so far. I mean, the season's still young, but this is a big one. So, Oklahoma, though, key returners for OU, they get 79% of their defensive production back. Linebacker Danny Stutzman, that's one. These are just the key guys. Defensive back Billy Bowman, 6 interceptions last year. Defensive lineman Trace Ford. Jackson Arnold, he's back this year. O-line is, they say the O-line all this year. So we'll see. They had some potential addition where they necessarily ended up on. Don't want to throw out any misinformation, but either way, what they've got coming back is solid. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have our work cut out for scoring the ball. And but now I'll tell you what, man, if their offensive line is questionable, James Pierce Jr. is going to feast.
Well, I agree with you there. I mean, I still think that Tennessee has a long way to go.
We're at that point there, and
defense. But if we could, take advantage of the Oklahoma's offensive line, I think that's going to be our edge. A lot of people think that our offense is the number one edge that we have. No. We got a lot of young guys on our offense. The most seasoned guys on our offense is our offensive line. A lot's coming back, but our offensive line haven't impressed me yet. We haven't been dominant. Yeah. We couldn't really even do the hurry up offense last year. And that's not a good situation because the hurry up offense is supposed to help you out by getting rid of the ball quick.
That's true.
Making the defense tired. We couldn't do that last year. And that's because the offensive line. Everybody think that's the quarterback, the receivers. No. The hurry up offense is for the offensive line.
Well, hopefully we can get back into seeing that a lot more this year. But yeah, this game.
I would like to see that.
This game's going to be a hard one to win for sure. Like you said, if we were able to pull it off, if we're undefeated coming out of Norman, we've arrived, so to speak.
Yeah. It's on the season for sure.
Tough way to open up SEC play. Why do
break off some stats for you guys from last year?
Why do we always have to open the SEC with like Florida or Oklahoma? Why can't we play like Kentucky first?
Hey, Swana, you have opened up one of the biggest questions.
Great.
All of us used to ask that question when I play. Why we always had to play Florida? We always had like when we played Florida, we had a bye week before Florida. So we were dead for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We played the number 1 or number 2, 3 team in the country. It never failed. I'm going to say this here.
The good old days, right?
They hate us.
It does feel like that sometimes.
It really does. It really does. So, boys, I'm going to break off some Vols on the road in 2023, some stats for you. Average scoring, we scored 19 points a game last year on the road. 19. Gave up 31 and a half. So, we need to pump them numbers up just a little bit on the offense there. Let's on the road in the SEC, I feel like if you can score 24 to 28 a game, you give yourself a pretty good shot at winning. At least, 28 preferably, but 19 ain't going to get it done, especially when you got a secondary that, is not very good. So that's defense. It's going to be tough, boys. I think last year, though, a lot of it was penalty and just lack of discipline. I don't know. Last good road win. What would you guys consider our last good road win?
I'm probably from last year's. I'm probably going to say the Kentucky game. I mean, we went down and dominated.
I would second that one. Swan, what have you? I would second the Kentucky game.
I think, the way we came out and played Kentucky, especially when they was trying to say Kentucky's defense was all
Kentucky game.
Yeah. So I think we kind of business on the road against Kentucky. Oh, it should have been Alabama.
We did. That would have been the best one last year. Yes, absolutely. To me, the last really good road win we had was 2022 Pittsburgh. They were ranked, had to go up there, get it done in overtime nonetheless. But that was the last good one.
More impressive than LSU.
Road record for hype, though. Tennessee. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right on that one. I will.
So
I will not lie. I slipped on that one. That was a good one. That was probably the best one.
So the only reason I didn't count it because it didn't count.
Because it was at noon.
Well, I thought that was one of the wins they took away from us.
The vacated wins aren't a real thing. That's nobody acknowledges that.
No.
Reggie Bush still won the Heisman.
The Bama fans don't. We don't have to either.
They reinstated Reggie Bush's Heisman, but we all saw him win the Heisman,
Yes.
No matter what they say, no matter what happens at Georgia or Duke basketball or whatever. We all saw him win. You can take the banners down or whatever, but vacated wins aren't real.
In our hearts, we know who won.
We beat LSU.
So, Hype's road record since he's been here, he's got. Let's see here. He's got six wins, 6 to 8. Let's see here. Let me make sure here. He's beat Kentucky on the road twice. He's beat Vandy once, Mizzou once on the road, Pitt, and one at LSU. He's 6 and 8 on the road. Not an awful record, considering it could be better. I'd rather it be 8 and 6 and 6 and 8. It's not good. It ain't awful though. And you look at it, let's see here. If you think about this, he's lost to Florida on the road twice now. He has lost to Alabama on the road twice now. The games he's lost on the road they're important games, but they're not easy places to go win either. I don't know. And then Mizzou last year absolutely destroyed us. That was a whipping. So he's got a chance this year to right some wrongs. A lot of them. Back-to-back weeks, too, because after this, we got to go to Arkansas.
Well, isn't that the biggest question going into Norman, Oklahoma?
This one
is
yes. If he can, whether he can get it done on the road or not.
That is the big thing really going into this season. Because if we're gonna compete on the level of Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State, we can recruit on that level, clearly. If we're going to compete on it, then the road demons, they have to be exercised. That can't be a thing anymore if we're gonna play for national titles or even SEC titles.
And that for sure, and that starts with this game because we've got to go to Athens too. So hopefully, Eric Ainge don't give him any fuel to the fire this year. So, all right, boys.
our hands full with our schedule. I mean, the thing is, the whole SEC schedule is brutal. Especially
it's lit, son.
Adding those two teams to the SEC, it became even more brutal. I truly don't see an SEC team going undefeated this year. I truly don't. I mean, you'll see
the only one that could do it,
like Georgia, Alabama. We're going to see them get beat by a team they shouldn't get beat by.
I would agree with that. I could see it happening. Georgia's the only team though that I think could somehow pull that rabbit out of the hat and go undefeated because they do have Texas. They got Texas out of this. So
and Bama.
And they got and Bama. So it could.
I'm not sure where
it's gonna. Bama. It is in Bama. In Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
So it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be fun to watch SEC football this year. I mean, it is every year, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fun to watch this year in particular. At this point, though, what should we expect for this game? Offensively, defensively, offense. I just want to see a well-oiled machine be put out there. Wide receivers rolling, same page as Nico. O-line imposing their will. What do you guys want to see?
Me personally, I want to see domination. I want to see the defense finally finish a game. I want to see offensive linemen become nasty like they used to be. I want to see what we saw at the beginning of the season, where we saw offensive linemen taking guys in the end zone like blindside. I want to see things like that. I want to see us back to Tennessee football. We don't see that anymore. We see one guy be dominant and the rest of them are just watching. I want to see 5 offensive linemen finish. I want to see 4 defensive linemen battle for a sack. I want half sacks. I want
ragdoll somebody.
I don't want the one guy out here getting all the plays. I want my defensive tackles with T for L's. I want to see domination from Tennessee the way it used to be. I'm tired of seeing Alabama. I'm tired of seeing Georgia. I'm tired of seeing South Carolina. I'm tired of seeing these guys get all the first rounders and all this stuff in the end. That is us. But when we put the product on the field, they're not fulfilling their destiny. They're missing the things that they should win. Like the Alabama game last year, there's no reason we should have lost that game. I don't put that game on the coaches, the players.
No, I will agree with that.
To dig down deep to win that game by 2-3 points, easy.
I'll agree with that. I will.
The referees call the play. If they're gonna hold you, make them call the play from holding me. Tear his wrist off his arm. Make them call the hold.
I'm with it. Swan, I don't know about you, man, but he's got me ready to suit up and go. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready to play.
I truly want to see a captain on the Tennessee's team. I haven't seen a real captain since Eric Berry. I want to see a captain. I want to see somebody speak up.
Preach it.
Tell these guys, get off your butt, get to the ball. That's what I want to see.
I like it.
This game here. This is the trendsetter this year. We go on the road, get this win. I promise you, Georgia, Alabama be like, oh my God, we in trouble. We might have Tennessee.
This is it right here. Billy's going to give the pregame speech.
You were just missing a few hots from that being a good sermon.
That's what my brother Al Wilson used to do. That's why we called him.
Oh,
he'll curse you out in there, and also and don't do it no more.
I'd say back to the question.
That's awesome.
What we're expecting from this game, I would like to see a good old fashioned Big 12 game, high 50s, early 60s in the score on the scoreboard from both teams. Let's have some fun.
Ooh, man, I don't know if my heart can take that, but it'd be fun.
I don't know if my liver can.
Myself. Myself defensively, I just don't want to see no blown assignments. I want to see what I want. I want to go where Billy went there for a minute. If that offensive line is questionable, make them doubt it all game. Make them doubt it all game. Get after them. Get up in somebody's grill and just own them. Make Jackson Arnold have to watch his jersey. Get after him. I don't want to. My biggest thing though is I don't want to see the secondary get absolutely toasted. Because if they do, we're in trouble. This is the game we find out what they really got, I think.
Well, we previewed the first 3 games the other night, Jordan. That the secondary came up in all 3 games. Talking about, well, maybe not in Kent State, but in the other 2, we talked a lot about the secondary. And you're right, this is going to be the game where we know what the rest of the SEC season is going to look like based on how they perform against Oklahoma.
Absolutely. And I want to see. I know we've talked about it before with in the other 3 previews. Billy, you wasn't with us on those 3.
You didn't miss much,
but we've talked about it. I want to see. Just Swan glossing over UTC. But I want to see how Nico handles a big game on the road. That's because he's gonna have 2 more this year after this. I mean, and another one in the next week. If Nico comes out and looks composed, don't do anything he shouldn't do, because let's face it, he's young. As long as Nico does not beat us in this game, trying to do too much, I like our chances myself. I'm torn on it though. Like it's one of those things. I feel like we're going to see that the issue was talent or coaching from last year, and let's hope it was talent in that secondary.
Well, I'll tell you this here. Nico is not going to be an issue. Nico might be one of the most poised kids I ever watched play. Even on the practice field, you would think he's a senior out there the way he's in chill mode all the time. I've never seen this from a quarterback since Peyton. He is in chill mode. I mean, I don't care if it's against him. That play is done. He's going to the next play. That's what's going to make him great. He don't dwell on what happened in the past. And then on our secondary is only as good as our front 7. If our defensive line do what they're supposed to do based off their talent and their ages, we should have a pretty good defensive backfield this year. The problem with us has been our defensive front. When we don't get enough pressure up the middle, and we got quarterbacks going out in the flats. If we don't get pressure up the middle, it's not going to work in the SEC. I'm going to tell you hands down, in order to be dominant in the SEC today, you have to have defensive tackle presence, period.
That's true. I mean, you got to be Amari Thomas, man. He's a space eater. He's got to get through there, though. Get after him. I'm with you there. For years, it seems like that's been one thing that's been a consistent issue is lack of a pass rush. Maybe we got it this year.
Well,
so
we got the players.
We'll see.
We got the kids to do the job. It's just they're not playing together as a unit. When you have what I call as a defensive line, we call it the V. We don't want a V. We want a straight line. We don't want it like the stock market. We don't want it up and down. One guy gets up, the other one's down, up. We want all 3 of them at 12% coming back. But that's what we want. We want these guys at the same time. But we haven't had that in a long time. It's been a long time since we had a defensive tackle that we can say that was very competitive at Tennessee. I'm trying to think of the last guy that was really one of those guys. I want to say Aubrey Franklin and, Big Dan Williams.
Big Dan.
Harold.
Let's see. It seemed like, Jason Harrell.
It's been a while since we had defensive.
Let's see. Since then, man, it's been a while. We had. I'm trying to think right offhand too, Barnett was an end.
He was the last one.
He was the last good defensive end. Well, we've had a few, but last elite pass rusher we had was probably Derek Barnett. Up until James Pierce Jr. I don't know. Darrell Taylor was a good pass rusher. when he could get free. When he get through there, he was good. But as far as D linemen go, man, it's been a hot minute. I mean, to have a consistent 4, 3, 4, whatever. It's been a hot minute. So we do. It's like your old ball coach said, man. It ain't about X's and O's. It's about the Jimmy and Joes. We could use you. But all right, boys.
Yeah,
so I guess here's the question.
Billy?
What's that, Swan?
Do you have any years left? Any eligibility at all?
I'll tell you this here. I give him hell for one play and I'm coming out.
He's gonna make it count. They're gonna know he was there.
Hey, I'm gonna take my 15 yards.
Well, that's right. You damn Skippy. All right, boys. We're gonna wrap this one up here. So, question is: does Heupel get over the road hump in this game? Final score, record going into the bye week.
I'll chime in first here, just because I'm going to go ahead and have us losing. We're 5-point dogs in DraftKings. I think we go out there and get beat. Just based on what I see with my eyes, as far as him being on the road and me not really knowing how we're going to look right now. Obviously, I'll have a better opinion come September, mid-September. But yeah, I'll go ahead and just tamper my expectations a little bit. Keep them low and I'll never be let down.
I'm gonna go a little bit higher. The reason I'm gonna go high because this is Hype game. Hype is coming back home. Hype was a Heisman Trophy quarterback. Hype is coming to make his quarterback a Heisman Trophy winner with this game. I think Nico goes off this game, and I can see him throwing 4 and running 3. But Jordan, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go something like the Alabama game that we won in Neyland. I'm gonna go something like 52-49 OT.
All right, 52-49 OT. Vols win in overtime. I'm gonna say the defense plays well enough to win this game. And I'm gonna say if we're gonna get it done, it's gonna be a 38-34 kind of game. That's what I'm thinking. But I will say this, it would not surprise me one bit if it went the other way, but I'm gonna pick Vols in this one. 38-34 Tennessee. So that's me and Billy, because I'm sure Billy's got us 4-0 going into this one. What do you got, Swan?
I'll say Oklahoma 41, Vols 38.
Okay. To me, it's just one of those games so I think we've all agreed that this is going to be a close game, hard fought game. The thing about it is we've all picked this game within 3 or 4 points. So we could clearly say, go ahead and bet the points now. Take Vols in the 5.5, if that's what the line is right now.
Yeah. That was a May 7th headline. But so it'll move between now and September 21st.
So all that being said, though, I don't think it would shock either of the three of us if we were to drop this game either.
We have to have this one.
It would be.
We need it.
To win,
I agree
obviously.
with you.
Start out.
You
SEC
do. You
play 1-0.
I mean, obviously, this is going to sound Captain Obvious right here, but I mean, we have to win this game. You know what I mean? Like this is it. If we win this game, I will say, depending on how we follow up against Arkansas in the next one after the bye week, because we've got a bye week after this one, I will. If we can win back-to-back road games in the SEC, I'll say Hype's got the road demons exercised, and I'm ready to ride to Athens.
There's a lot going on between that and Athens.
I know, but I'm saying
we're talking specifically about road games.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I get that.
I'll go into that. I'll go into
Billy-
that Athens game, that Georgia game. Go ahead, Swan.
I will say Billy painted a beautiful picture about this Oklahoma game, and I can see it. I can envision, a Heisman campaign being born on September 21st, 2024. But yeah, I'm sticking to keeping my expectations low.
Yes,
I come from a
sir.
different era of being
All
a ball
right.
fan than you guys, and even I really didn't even see the teams Billy played on. So I'm just used to being let down.
Oh, I'm just going to say this.
I think you're about to live through the second best era we've had.
Go ahead, Billy.
If we, let's say our first 3 games, if our defensive tackles are playing dominant football, I'm going to change my score with the Oklahoma game. If our defensive tackles are dominant, and what I mean by dominant, I mean, let's say by that time they each have 4 or 5 tackles for loss. They're in the backfield, they creating havoc. I'm not saying sacks. I'm just saying just in the backfield, slowing guys down and creating where our defensive ends have 4 or 5 sacks apiece. Now you're telling me that we can compete with the SEC like I think we can. Now, if we come into Oklahoma and we giving up 30 points a game to the teams we just played, I'm going to be with Swanee then. Because if we can't stop those 3 teams, you know what kind of offense Oklahoma's running.
And it'll be the best quarterback we played to that point at Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold.
Well, you already know the first 3 teams we played.
Easily.
Even though they're not Heisman Trophy guys, everybody play us like they are the Heisman Trophy candidates. So.
Yeah. Some backup QB comes in and runs for
That's
250 yards. Every time.
That's a fact. So.
All
right, boys. So Swan's got us.
Yeah. Swan's got us what? Oh, I got us losing? Yeah, that's true.
No, you're fine.
For now.
Swan's got us dropping this one 41-38. Billy's got us going 52-49. And for now, we'll be revisiting this week of too. So Billy's got us 52-49 in OT, and I got us 38-34. So me and Billy's got us undefeated going into the bombs, got us with a loss. Let's end this one how we usually end it and give it a big old Go Vols, boys.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.